Hey guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, "She Quit Being an ICU Nurse to Make Six Figures on OnlyFans." And a big shout out to James for sending me this story. And guys, what we have here is yet another example in today's world of these women that have ordinary jobs, teachers, nurses, one time a pastor. And these women get themselves on OnlyFans, start making a ton of money, and they get caught and they get kicked out of their jobs. Or they pretty much, they resign, but they're pretty much being told to do so. And every single time this happens, these articles come about and these women are pretty much put on this big sob story about how unfair it is and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they go against the social media policy or whatever types of policies their employers have. But welcome to today's world. And I'm doing this, guys, for multiple reasons. One, to show you, yet again, this is what we have in today's world. So just be aware of this, those of you guys that do relationships, regular relationships, marriages, whatever, because you never know if your girl could be on the way to be doing this. Number two, take a wild guess how this started. What social media was she on showing her stuff which led her to OnlyFans? Instagram. Instagram is like the gateway drug to OnlyFans. No kidding, every single time. Right? So for your girl is on Instagram. Now, I've done stories where guys will have girlfriends or wives, and they have an Instagram account, and they'll show pictures of them on vacation or the kids and the dogs and stuff like that. And then eventually they start having their own account where they show selfies and stuff like that. And that is the beginning of the end. Because they start getting all this free attention from guys all over the world. It starts going to their head. They want more and more attention. So they start having more revealing pictures and more and more and more than videos. And next thing you know, they're on OnlyFans, making money off that. And then being even more revealing to the point they're doing specific acts. And they're bringing all this money and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of guys may think like, hey, this is my girl or my wife, and she's raking in tons of money, because you're going to see in this article, this woman is making a fortune now. The guys think, hey, it's only going to benefit me. Well, a lot of times in these situations, the stories I've gone over, and maybe some of you guys have heard these stories, these women end up dumping their husbands, thinking they got a career in this type of thing, or they can do better. So if you're a guy and you're watching this and thinking, who cares? Keep in mind, she could dump your ass. And lastly, I'm doing this, guys, is yet another example why more and more men aren't getting married nowadays, because so many young women are now strutting their stuff and showing off their body on Instagram and other forms of social media. That stuff is there forever. And they don't want to be with a girl they get married to, and they have kids, and one day the kids' friends, because kids can find anything on the internet, say, hey, I just found pictures of your mom, right, on Instagram, or even worse, on OnlyFans. I saw your mom with your dad, on OnlyFans, right? No guy wants that. And so you can see how with more and more girls finding this to be acceptable, because it's, today's world, thanks to feminism, trying to tell women they can do anything a guy can do and be free to do whatever you want and express yourself and all that stuff. This is more common. So if I wouldn't want that. I don't think many of you guys would want that if you did marriage. Think about that. So, but anyhow, I'm going to go through the story here. It's another example. It's definitely interesting. You're going to see how this whole thing plays out. So it starts off. It says she's being quoted saying, "Nursing is always where I saw myself," explains Allie Ray. If that doesn't sound like kind of a stage name for a certain type of you-know-what star, I don't know what, Allie Ray. She says, getting there was the hard part. She signed up for the Navy at age 17, serving as a yeoman who assisted the admirals. Assisted the admirals in what way exactly? And penned awards literature anytime someone received a medal. At age 18, she married her husband, and they had 2 children right away. Ray, who's using her stage name, decided to leave the Navy in 2006 following Hurricane Katrina. She'd been stationed in New Orleans during the disaster and witnessed the devastation and loss of life firsthand had taken its toll. Following a brief stint in marketing, she enrolled in nursing school, eventually landing a labor and delivery unit of a top hospital in Massachusetts. Massachusetts? I was in the hospital for a thing in 2014. I wonder if she was there. And by the way, guys, if you want to click on the link in the description, you're going to see pictures of her. And I got to tell you, she's 37 years old. But for 37 years old and the fact that she's had 3 kids, I got to tell you, I will give credit where credit's due. She's good looking. So it's not a surprise that she's making this money. But the attention she wasn't getting from the attention she was getting from her husband clearly wasn't enough, which you're going to see led her to Instagram. It goes on, and she soon realized that she had a gift for helping people. Well, define helping people. She says, I started off in labor and delivery, which is where I always wanted to be, says Ray. Then I started to realize that anytime something went wrong with a baby, I was incredibly nervous. So I made myself shadow in the NICU in order to get past my fear and end up falling in love with it. I can say with pure confidence that I was a fantastic NICU nurse. Okay, that's awesome. She was great at being a nurse. She had a passion for it. So what's the problem? Why do anything to jeopardize that? Well, you're going to see. Attention and validation, my friends, is a drug, and almost all of them need it in some way, and some take it to a whole new level. It says Ray worked 14-hour days in the neonatal intensive care unit, which she described as taxing on my body and emotionally draining, but she loved her work. To blow off steam and entertain herself, Ray began posting revealing shots of herself on Instagram and the Chive under the alias Allie Ray. To blow off steam and to entertain herself because of a stressful day. You know, ordinarily people that have a stressful day or stressful job tend to find other ways to, blow off steam. They hang out with their friends, they go to the gym, will go walk the dog, I don't know what, but they don't start taking naked pictures of themselves and putting up on social media for the world to see. But somebody, and it says here she got married at 18, I might add, very young, maybe she's making up for lost time wanting the attention from guys, and it goes to her head. She says, in December 2020, after nearly 9 years on the job, 6 nurses in her unit stumbled across some of her photos online and reported them to her boss. Now we're going to get into her sob story, because you just heard in the beginning how much she loves her job and has a passion for it, but the attention and validation from social media, that took all that away. She says, they informed my manager about that, and I was called into the office about their social media policy, shares Ray. It got uncomfortable, where I felt people were concentrating more on my performance outside the hospital versus my performance in the hospital. They have a policy, which you agreed to when you took the job there. So if their social media policy says that pretty much you're not supposed to be online doing things like she was doing, then that's it. And either you don't do them and lose your job, or either you don't do them and keep your job, or keep on doing it, but you're not going to work here. End of story. She agreed to those terms of her employment, and yet we're getting the sob story here. Given that she was using an alias, wasn't identifying where she worked, and wasn't posting anything too risque, I beg to differ. Ray was let off with a warning. 3 months later, in March 2020, the nosy nurses found Ray's OnlyFans. They subscribed and paid to my OnlyFans account to screenshot it and report it to my manager, recalls Ray. It was like Mean Girls for adults. Well, you know what? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that she was a very good nurse. Okay? Now, like I said, if you click on the description, you'll see her picture. She's pretty. So probably a lot of these nurses were probably jealous of her. Okay? I don't know what her personality was like. Maybe she was a complete and total bitch, and they didn't like her for that. Maybe she's really nice and good at her job, but they didn't like her because she was pretty. Women are like that, and we all know it. But for whatever reason, they found out about her and they wanted to get rid of her. Now, she was obviously breaking the rules of the hospital, and that would cause embarrassment to the hospital. But one has to ask. But nevertheless, what happened. She says they got the director involved, and it was, you need to get rid of this account or we can't have you working here. That really bothered me, Ray admits, so she quit. So it's not like they told her, that's it, you're out of here. They gave her the choice. Well, she quit. Well, as you're going to see, nursing was a drop in the bucket money-wise compared to what she's making on OnlyFans. The stigma against people in the you-know-what work industry and OnlyFans ran a really good nurse out of the hospital, says Ray. I didn't even need the money. I was making more money on OnlyFans than I was as a nurse, and I was only doing it because I loved it. But once I became the girl who does OnlyFans, it tore me apart. Oh, boo-hoo. You knew the consequences. You did this anyway, so tough shit, But You're married. You have kids. These kids, and you're going to find out guys are obviously older, they can find out about this. You ever think about the humiliation, embarrassment it could cause your kids? If they found out about this, their friends found out about this, okay? Yeah, you're making a ton of money, and certainly that can help your family, sure, but at the end of the day, or what about your husband? Now, you're going to see that her husband's actually involved in this, but he better be careful. It may come back to bite him in the ass one day. But I don't want to hear about the sob story and the crying and carrying. You, as an adult, made a choice. You make your bed, you lie in it. She says, I was just your typical girl. I wonder if that was like a tagline for her OnlyFans page to get guys to pay to see her naked and doing other things. She says, thanks to her bikini-clad images on Instagram and the Chive, Ray had amassed a decent online following. In the early months of 2020, as the COVID-19 pandemic upended the lives of people across the world, OnlyFans exploded as lonely, locked-down men, and it says primarily lonely, locked-down men, flocked to the adult subscription site to quench in their sexual thirst. Guys, I've said this more times than I can count, and I'm going to say it again. If you are on OnlyFans right now, I want you to delete your account and never go back again, okay? Because it's guys like you that help build up these giant egos of all these different women. It's guys like you that, and a part as why things are the way they are nowadays with women and their attitude towards men. Because all these thirsty, hungry guys, lonely guys, go on Instagram and all sorts of social media, liking all these girls' pictures, commenting how beautiful they are, paying them to do all this stuff. It's your fault, okay? You are the ultra simp if you're doing that type of thing. Smack yourself in the face right now if you're doing that, okay? Cut that shit out. She says here, Ray began receiving DMs from her Instagram followers telling her to start an OnlyFans account, so she and her husband thought, let's go see what it's all about. I am willing to bet she didn't exactly go just like that. They set up her OnlyFans in September 2020, and the feedback was, well, extremely positive. She says, I posted a couple of photos, and by the end of the day, I had 20 subscribers, she remembers. So I posted every day or every other day, and by the end of the first month, we made $8,000, which surpassed my monthly nursing salary. You got a whole world out there, around the world, of these freaking idiot guys, these beta simp guys, they're going to pay for this, okay? I'm trying to build men here. I'm trying to turn guys that are beta men, simps, into actually masculine men, and no masculine guy that has any value would do this kind of bullshit. But I could have 50 million subscribers and everybody would know my name, and there'd still be a whole world of guys like that would do this. So girls like this are going to make money, but I'm going to say what I got to say to help save a few male souls here, but $8,000 in the first month alone. You can see obviously why she did it. I'm not saying it's right, but you can see why she did it. She says, and it was COVID, so it wasn't the most pleasant time at work. To see that much money come in with such little effort, she mutters, trailing off. She says, this was a completely new frontier. I was just your typical girl, she adds. As far as how it felt, my husband and I were married very young, so it was very liberating. Translation, she got married very young. She didn't have a whole lot of experiences, at least to what she's admitting or what he thought. So this is a great way to get a lot of attention, and guys let her know she's beautiful and all that. But you never know what can be going on behind the scenes with her at the hospital, the naughty nurse. She says, we started as a handful of nude photos, has grown to include far racier images and pay-per-view videos, including Ray doing certain things and certain acts with her husband. She calls her OnlyFans a behind-the-scenes version of our life. And so, like I told you, it begins with just pictures on Instagram, then bikini pictures, then more revealing, then thongs. Then on OnlyFans starts with nude pictures. Now it's gone to pay-per-view videos with her doing certain things to herself and doing certain acts with her husband. You see how this escalates? Then she's probably going to realize, you know what? I'll make more money if I get another girl to jump in these things. And then you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going here. And eventually, so much money will be coming in. She's making millions a year. It's like, I don't need this guy anymore that I've been married to all these years. He's been a great husband to me and loyal and supportive. And he's toast. It's happened. She says, we definitely expanded our horizons from the beginning. She offers, for instance, I never saw us selling videos of us having you-know-what to strangers online, but now we do it. That came with many late-night conversations and talking things through together. More like she probably talked him into this. Now remember, she's got kids. Wait till you see more how this goes about her justifying it about the kids. She says Ray, 37, now pulls in an average $65,000 to $75,000 a month from her OnlyFans through a combination of subscriptions, which runs $12.99, and her pay-per-view, you-know-what clips that run between $7 to $30 a piece. And $65 to $75K a month. That's a lot of freaking money. And that's just now. She's only been at this not even a year. Give her another year. Give her the exposure she's going to get, exposure no pun intended, from this article. Goes on. We try to provide the fly-on-the-wall experience, and I think that's been a huge part of our success during the pandemic. Ray explains, it's a full-time job for me now, but I never wanted to feel like I'm selling myself online. What are you kidding me? You are most certainly selling yourself online. It's just us having fun and enjoying ourselves. While Ray's husband has always been intimately involved in her OnlyFans activities, their 3 children, ages 12, 17, and 18, have been largely kept in the dark. Well, I certainly hope so. Jesus, what are you going to do? Like, talk about it over dinner? Pizza night? Oh, by the way, Mom was sucking Dad's you-know-what. How was your day at school? It was only recently that she had her hubby sort of break the news to their oldest kids. Imagine if these kids' friends found this and said, holy shit, look at Mrs. Smith on there. God, your mom, look at her ass. You want to talk about embarrassment? She doesn't care. Detention and validation goes right to the head. And, of course, the money. She says, we took the 2 older kids out to dinner, and I told them I was doing some influencer type of work. And they were like, we got it. We're good. We know. Ray remembers it was an unspoken thing where I'm sure they understood what we were dabbling. They had a pretty good open mind about it, and we blocked them and their friends on all platforms. Oh, good luck with that. A bunch of 17, 18-year-olds, they will find a way. You don't know all their friends. Besides, they're almost going to college. They're going to make all new friends. Believe me, it's going to be found out. Ray and her husband are currently living in Florida, where they moved after she left the hospital in March, only a few months shy of receiving her doctorate in nursing. They're thinking of buying property down there with all the OnlyFans cash, but they are so flush with it, they're not sure where else to put the rest of it. Index funds, exchange trade funds, individual companies, they're big companies, crypto, buying more property, not rocket science here. Get yourself a financial advisor if you need one. Despite her riches, Ray misses nursing and is still haunted by the way she was cruelly pushed out of the hospital. Bullshit. You put yourself in a position to be pushed out. You broke the rules. You knew what they were. Cut the shit. Remember the joke about women and accountability, right? It's not my fault. Even though I knew the rules, not my fault. It's their fault. I didn't like the way I was looked at and treated and the way that I was labeled. Everything shifted, she maintains, but nursing takes a toll on you. And after I got past the fact of how could everyone be so mean, I realized I could spend more of my time with the kids, make them breakfast every morning, and there for dinner every night. These were the things I could never do as a nurse working 14-hour days. So there were a lot of positives that came out of it. Well, it is what it is, but you make your bed, you lie. I mean, she literally is making her bed, and she's lying it in different positions. But just own it. I broke the rules. Don't play this whole woe is me shit. That being said, I do mourn it a bit, she continues. That will come back a lot, because I did have a passion for what I did. Doing something meaningful. It's the purpose that I'll miss the most. I won't say that what I do now is empty, because I do give a lot of advice to people struggling with their relationships. But I do miss nursing. The wound is still fresh. Boo-hoo. She gives advice to people struggling in relationships. What? Okay, do an OnlyFans account and that'll bring you all closer. She also finds it strange just how much she's making on OnlyFans compared to her far busier nursing days. Well, it's not rocket science. You work for a hospital, you are working for someone else, and you're going to be on a salary or hourly pay, whatever that is. I mean, she's obviously on a salary at the hospital, but when you're working for somebody else, it's either salary or commission or hourly rate. And so you're going to make pretty much what they determine. But when you're your own boss, then that's a different ballgame. You get to keep all the profits. So it's not shocking, but still, don't boo-hoo about missing the job or lack of purpose. You made a choice. And the best thing she can do in this situation, hopefully, she doesn't leave her husband, and that this money is used to helping the. In my opinion, if she's bringing this kind of money, and she wonders what to do with the money, since she's doing this, and it is very likely the kids are going to find out, and their friends are going to find out. I think this is one situation that certainly can help the kids with if they go to college, with their college education. I think that's a fair trade, at least, and other things for the husband and so forth. Now, like I said, you see it in the picture, she's damn good looking for her age. I'll give credit where credit's due. But it's not going to last forever, so she better make her money now, and hopefully she'll stick with her husband. She says, it's very, very little money for saving a life every day, especially in the NICU. She says, with a deep sigh, that really opened my eyes. There's definitely an unappreciation for nurses. Whatever, lady. I mean, there is an unappreciation for nurses, but that's not the issue here. But anyhow, guys, I did this again to show you. Welcome to today's world, and be aware of this with your girl. If she happens to be on social media a lot and have pictures of herself with just her with the selfies and all that, it does escalate. You got to pay attention to that. And I've done stories where guys find out that they had secret accounts doing all sorts of frisky stuff. You got to be aware of that. And also, perfect example of about attention and validation. It's a drug, and the women cannot get enough of it. It starts off with little things, and then it escalates higher and higher and higher, and then Instagram's a gateway drug to OnlyFans, and off you go. Now, OnlyFans apparently is trying to clean up its act, so we'll see how far this goes, because I didn't read the article, but I've heard that OnlyFans is going to try to get rid of this type of stuff because they actually want to become a bigger and better company, but we'll see about that. So these girls could be out of work in no time, and but everybody's going to know that she was the nurse on OnlyFans. So if she had to go back to the hospital one day or working in a hospital, that could cause her some problems. But got to be aware of this, guys. And again, one of many reasons why a lot of guys are simply just not interested in marriage, because nowadays there's so many young women doing not just OnlyFans, but a lot of them just the attention and social media. They don't want that to be an embarrassment on them one day, or their family, or their future kids. So, but it'll be very interesting to see how things go in the coming year. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.